Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King. I got this series not too long ago. We're going to dive into a Kekkei Genkai that is fitting for the name, the Hulk. Yes, guys. What if Naruto had the Hulk Kekkei Genkai? A little bit of Hulk with a twist into the ninja world to make it a bit more accurate, but just as limitless, just as ferocious. And I'm talking about comic book Hulk here, guys, not the MCU. There should be no limit on his strength, especially when he's angry. There should be no limit. So yeah, if you want to see part 2, just go ahead and tell me that you want part 2 and I'll post it as soon as possible. Also, guys, don't forget, if you have your own idea and you want it to be done by me, whether it be movies or a series, just go ahead and comment down below and tell me what you want, guys. So yeah, without further ado or wasting any more time, let us begin the intro. Long before the Hidden Leaf ever knew the name Naruto Uzumaki, before the nine-tailed fox tore through its walls, leaving fire and grief in its wake, there existed a secret in the Uzumaki clan. A secret that most had long since forgotten, or perhaps they chose to forget. It was said that centuries ago, the Uzumakis, when they were at their most brutal, wickedness, cruelness, when they did not leave their enemies alive, when they were ruthless, violent, they tampered with forbidden seals. Seals that were so forbidden that it had the Shinigami name written all over it. But it wasn't Shinigami. They brushed against something else. Something old, something violent, something terrible. It is said that the Uzumaki members that were there were cursed. Cursed with that unspeakable rage that just bubbled over inside of them. A rage that could not be quelled. A rage that could not be extinguished. Most of the history on this was limited. Some information made it to the near future, but most of it was limited. However, through the blood of the Uzumakis that passed down, years after years, something changed. And it all began on October 10th, the birth of Naruto Uzumaki. The village has been through a lot, but the nine-tailed fox was a literal natural disaster, a force of destructive chaos that could not be quelled. It was on that night that was very saddened, as many died, but also one was brought into the world within Konoha. But his parents, they gave everything for him, even their life as well. They believed that only he could bring a new future, that he could bring changes that they weren't able to bring. His father and mother loved him, and the both of them died, never knowing that something happened. Something that most could never truly understand. When the nine-tailed fox was sealed inside of the boy, it was weakened. It was angry. Despite being weakened, it banged against the vessel. It banged against the bars. Roaring in defiance, it wanted freedom. It wanted freedom. It was within that moment, something inside of the infant started to work. They often say that to trigger one, there must be another. And in this situation, something started to flood through the child. This wasn't chakra. It wasn't nature energy. It was green though. Green and old. The nine-tailed saw it approaching. It was like a wave. It seeped through the bars and started to slam into him. The fox roared. In its weakened state, it tried to fight it off, but the energy seemed to quadrupled. Minato and Kushina died that night, having no idea what was going on inside of their son. Years later, Hiruzen Saratobi was running as fast as he could, his envoys moving across the roof as they made their way. It was late in the night. He was just about to turn in when one of his ninjas had rushed in. He was mumbling quickly, but Hiruzen only needed to see his face because he then heard it. A roar. A loud, violent roar. Immediately his mind went back to 6 years ago. Could it be? Could it be? Fear swelled inside of him as he wondered, has it returned? And what did this mean for Naruto? How would they stop it? He believed it to be the Nine Tails as he ran, but the closer he got, the more he realized that it couldn't be the Nine Tails. He would have seen it from a distance, but he did not see a beast though. When he turned into the residential area, he saw buildings cracked along their foundations. Carts had been crushed and split in half. Hiruzen saw something flew by and slammed into a solid concrete wall. It was one of his envoys. With a bird mask, he was unconscious. And there, for a moment Hiruzen did not recognize him, but he then saw the hair, and even in this state he had whisker marks on his face. His name was Naruto, holder of the Nine Tails, but he was not the same. Hiruzen had kept watch on him since birth. Naruto was living in the orphanage. Hiruzen unfortunately let the secret get loose. How, he did not know, but it was supposed to be his responsibility. And now the village knew what the boy contained, but the child knew none of this. But Hiruzen stood there that night, confused beyond his wildest imagination. Naruto was 6 years old, but that was not the body of a 6 years old. He seemed to have quadrupled in size, and mass as well, his blonde hair whipping around. His skin had turned deep green. His eyes were green as well. The energy seemed to be radiating off of him with each step. It was visible. It was powerful. It felt like crushing force. You could feel it from a distance. He picked up a boulder from the street, something that weighed more than a wagon, as he hurled it like it weighed nothing. Hiruzen already sped through Hansan the moment he saw Naruto picked it up. An earth jutsu followed to crush the boulder completely. Naruto roared at him as he slammed both of his fists into the earth. It created a picture as it split the earth. The envoys moved in almost immediately. Hiruzen called out, order almost seconds after. They did not hesitate as they erected a barrier. Not their strongest, there was no time for that, but it was definitely powerful, based on the chakra that they were supplying to it, as they contained Naruto within seconds. He started to beat his fist against the barrier. However, there was no getting out of that. He's getting more angry. One of the envoy members said, it doesn't matter. He cannot break this with brute force. He would need to... The sound of something cracking wasn't supposed to be possible. It was chakra. Why does... Boom! The envoys were blasted away, crashing violently and hard. Naruto stepped out, fuming. His skin, it seemed to be even pulsating even more. The green energy seemed to be causing a lot of destruction around as he roared to the heavens and brought his hand down. Hiruzen stood in the middle of the wreckage and chaos. His eyes went wide. What have you become? It took minutes for them to finally get him down. 23 to be quite exact. And how did they do this, you wonder? It took 4 squad of envoy operatives. It was a very special poison. Not for killing, it was meant for subduing. They had made their way while the others draw his attention towards them. The darts, they were special, strong enough to pierce his skin that seemed to have grown almost indestructible. And what they feared the most was he was still a child. Was this power? Was it something that would grow with his age? If that was the case, he couldn't stay here. No, he could not. If this child got angry when he was older, how would they even think of stopping him? They had to pump him with so much of the toxin. It would have killed over 50 normal people because he would have died from overdose. And all it did was put him to sleep, finally calming him down. The street was silent, only the sound of movements and the envoy operatives. As Hiruzen stood there in all of the wreckage, unable to believe what had happened, wondering if he was dreaming or something. But this was no dream. The truth came out not long after that. The caretaker that claimed that Naruto was a monster and thus exploded in rage. He had lied. Luckily, there was another there that told the truth. They were restricting food from going to the boy. Yes, it was their little way of punishing him for the smallest things. Things that if another child did it, they would simply overlook it. They've been doing this for days now. She had tried to say something, tried to do something, but they threatened her. They said that he didn't deserve it. Their hatred ever since finding out what he contained. Hiruzen was shocked. He had absolutely no idea that things were that bad. The look that Hiruzen gave the man. It was a good thing that every bone in his body was already broken. It seems that the Hokage would have lashed out on him. But Hiruzen had no idea that he took his eye off the ball for so long. He couldn't believe that this was going on. He removed Naruto from the orphanage that night, and he made a change. A lot of people lost their job, and new staff were hired. The studies that Hiruzen went into was something that he's never dived into before. Archives that were retrieved from the Uzumaki downfall. He saw things that linked to whatever Naruto had turned into. Most of it that spoke about rage and curse. Hiruzen went deep as he possibly could, but he couldn't find the exact detail on what exactly Naruto has become. But after studying his seal, Hiruzen found something strange. The chakra inside wasn't stable. It was fluctuating like a violent storm. Hiruzen tried to place another seal over it to make sure that it stayed put. But the seal simply burned away with a green fire, shocking the man. Hiruzen couldn't believe it or understand it. As he realized when doing further studies, the seal no longer just revolved around Naruto's stomach. It seemed to stretch to every single point in the boy's body, becoming a part of him. This had to do with the power inside of him that was swirling and connecting to his chakra pathways. Hiruzen brought in the best and the brightest, but none of them could give him a true idea on what was going on. The closest they could say was it functioned like a Kekkei Genkai, because Naruto wasn't actively using his power always. It was something that hailed from the Uzumaki clan, but it seems like Naruto being Naruto because of the Nine Tails caused a drastic change to bring forward something that he's never yet seen before, something that shouldn't exist. When Naruto woke up, he only had fragments, flashes of greed, anger, rage. The anger to not take it anymore from the caretaker, flipping out and losing control. Hiruzen got him his own apartment. This was the first time Naruto had the old man in his life so much. They ran tests on him, day after day. They put him in a controlled environment, and they induced rage by tampering with Naruto's mind with a simple illusion. He flipped out almost immediately. It seems like the first trigger made things a lot more easier for him to transform. They subdue him once again, but Hiruzen knew that Naruto could not blend well with society. He needed to go somewhere where he can be taught to be calm, where he would be supervised. Hiruzen had an idea as he reached out. He reached out, and soon there was a man. His name was Chiriko, quiet, perceptive. The sort of person that understands the most difficult thing in the world was not a battle or a mission, but the internal conflict that every human has to face. He was also a monk, yes, a very special monk. Hiruzen had known the man for a long time, and he owed him a favor. Hiruzen had been alive for a long time, and done a lot of things. Chiriko listened. Listen to the plight that Naruto had. Listen to the internal conflict that Naruto was facing. And Hiruzen's fear if Naruto was set off by a bully. The academy would be starting in a couple of weeks and Hiruzen couldn't allow anyone to tamper with Naruto and let him let loose in the academy. Thus, Chiriko accepted. He decided to help Naruto. Yes, because he could help him more than anyone else. Naruto did not want to go, but Hiruzen sat him down and talked to him. He needed to go. He needed to control his power not for himself but for everyone else. And Naruto liked a challenge. When Hiruzen put it that way, Naruto was determined. Thus he left. Days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months. And months turned into years as they passed by. It was a shocker that Naruto hadn't stepped foot in the village for 7 years. A lot has changed with him, so much. On the day when he finally returned, he was different, unrecognizable. With no one seeing him, the people had slowly forgot about the Nine Tails. It was still a constant in their life, but they forgot about the Jinchuriki. The whisker marks were still there, and that was probably the only recognizable thing about him. His hair had changed. It was a bright, shocking green. So were his eyes. Even the structure of his face was different. Far taller than before. Taller than your average 13-year-old child. His face was even more muscular. Like the baby fat had been sapped away completely. Yes, so much has changed in the past 7 years for one Naruto Uzumaki. Hiruzen had received letters from Naruto every now and again. So, it wasn't awkward when he saw the child. Naruto, he said with a smile as Chiriko stood there. You're finally back. Chiriko had promised to bring Naruto back when he was able to control himself. Because despite everything, Naruto's desire was still strong. And Chiriko was not going to take that away from him. He was different. Respectful, kind, calm. Years of being trained by monks would do that to you, yes it would. Naruto hasn't been here for a long while, so Hiruzen gave him the go-ahead, trusting him to move around the village and take it all in. While he was doing that, Chiriko sat with Hiruzen. He began simply. Naruto had not taken to the monk's way. It was not a failure. Chiriko was careful when he said that. Not a failure for the boy. Not a failure for the teacher. Naruto was not built for the way of a monk. Even after so many years, his mindset never truly changed into that part. Yes, he was a lot calmer, a lot more understanding of the internal workings of himself, and a lot more wiser. But he never took on that world, he never became a part of it. Chiriko had tried, seen potential there, but Naruto never took to it. There was many others, some similar to his age, that was already there training under the monks. Looking forward to a new future as something else completely. But Naruto did not take to it. There was another as well that did not take to it, his name was Sora. But he was a different story. You see, Naruto did not found peace by engage in the world on the inside. He released the world. He found peace by engaging on the outside, by caring about specific things, specific individuals. Chiriko had went on many journeys with Naruto, moving as monks. People tend to leave you alone. He was a holy man, a man of prayer, a man of spiritual movements. Even most bandits understood to just let them be and not interfere. He brought Naruto many places, keeping him as his disciple, showing him the world, making him understand the small complexity of the world to make him see just how small most of the human problems were. And in doing so, he helped Naruto understand the rage that burned through him like wildfire. And now, Hiruzen said, he can access it, Chiriko said, deliberately, in a controlled way. The rage is still sometimes intoxicating, but he has enough control to be a ninja of the ages, a ninja that people can respect, a ninja that people can love. And I believe that he will be great on his journey. However, from my studies, from the reports that you gave me that link information back to the past, this power that he possesses has no ceiling that I've been able to find. The angrier he becomes, the more stronger he becomes. And there is no upper limit that I see that I could measure. I've seen him at levels that I have no reference point for. It started when he was 9 years old. When he started to remember, that is when the change truly started to happen. And now, he's a new man, in every sense of the word. Hiruzen was glad to hear that all of these years they had paid off. And this will help Naruto along with his journey, because he still desired to become a ninja. That had never changed about him. In the next following days that passed by, Hiruzen reintroduced Naruto back to the village. He also questioned Naruto about his time away. Naruto told him that he made many friends. It was a shame to leave their side, but he had desired to be a ninja from he was a child. Also, he told the Hokage that he knew many things now. Hiruzen was curious what Naruto meant by that. The way he said it sounded so ominous. However, there was only a small amount of time left for the academy. While he was learning, it wasn't just physical that he learned about. His desire to be a ninja forced him to make sure that he was ready for the outside world, even with the academy standards as well. So yes, he was well equipped. Naruto came to the academy as he was introduced as a new student. Kiba had something to say about that though. Hey, that's not fair. Why does this guy get to skip over all the boring homeworks and all the boring lectures while we had to do them all? Iruka turned towards him. Tell me, Kiba, he said. Would you like me to repeat what you said to the Hokage, given that this came directly from him? Kiba froze and shut his mouth immediately as the class burst out laughing. Naruto made his way and sat down beside Ino Yamanaka. She had lost her seat next to Sasuke, forced to move when Sakura beat her to it. And she was in a bad mood, so people tend to stay away from her. She was pissed off and they could see that. However, Naruto wasn't a shy person. Hi, he said. I guess you already know my name, he said, extending a hand. She looked towards him with an odd look, almost like she was about to explode on him. But he had a calming feeling about him. Your hair is really weird. Bright, she said. Yeah, I know. It does make me stand out. Ino Yamanaka, she said. While that was going on, Hiruzen sat alone. Naruto's ominous words had led to something big. He knew everything. He knew about his parents. He knew about the Nine Tails, but not even he knew exactly what happened to the beasts. All that teaching, all that learning. The fundamental makeup of his seal was now a mass of energy just swirling together as one. How he met his parents was another story. Chiriko had teach him how to focus, how to stay calm. Naruto had meditated constantly. When he arrived into his empty mindscape, he was able to see the two different sources, almost like a beacon inside. They died, but they sealed their chakra inside of him. Hiruzen expected there to be anger, but Naruto told him that he was upset in the beginning, but he had time to understand. He had time to see why he never said anything about it. He was immature back then. Maybe he was still a bit immature when it came to life and all that. He was still learning, but he was far more wiser and understand the difficulty of what it means to be a leader. Naruto has traveled from one place to another with Chiriko, and he's seen many things that most children wouldn't even focus on. But Naruto had seen the world for what it truly is, and it shaped him into another man completely. However, with that, there was still some problems. He did Hulk out. That is the state that he called his rage. It was a fitting name that came to him. He hulked out, and he hurt a lot of people one night. It was his own fault, trying to dive into the power without proper control. No one died, and they forgave him, but he didn't want to ever do something like that again. They were his friends. The problem was, his own insecurities started to bring dreams. The fact that this happened late in life, well, for him, judging that he was only 13, it happened late when he thought that he had more control, but he simply went too far. The dreams were still bothering him, he thought. Exposing himself to a new environment would change that a lot, but even sleeping now inside of his own room, his own home, it still brought back memories. Naruto decided to take a stroll, to clear his mind, to focus. He made his way towards the forest. Most people would say that the bugs and animals would be annoying because of their noise, but he has learned to blot those things out. And he liked the smell of nature. He liked how beautiful nature could be because he knew that he could be a force that could destroy it all. It was like the polar opposite. However, problem found Naruto quickly. You see, Haruka had been following Mizuki. He saw some weird incidents, he saw some weird oversight that made him start to judge his best friend. He thought that he was simply having a rough time, that he got caught up into something, but his following turned into stalking, which turned into a big reveal. Mizuki had stolen the forbidden scroll, but it wasn't just theft, it was also murder, because he tricked another Chunin known as Toji to aid him, who worked within that department, and he killed him. Haruka arrived too late. They started to fight. It wouldn't be long now before the Hokage knew, before the Hokage found out, as the shift that was going to be taken afterwards would reveal everything. He just had to buy time then, unless he take Mizuki down first. However, perhaps their long-standing years of friendship was holding him back. Naruto appeared out of nowhere. Haruka was confused. This made things go from bad to worse. "Naruto, get out of here," he said. Mizuki, though, saw the opening that he needed. He moved as fast as he could as he appeared behind Naruto, putting a kunai at his throat. Haruka went stiff. Mizuki was a man that would do anything to get what he desired, but Haruka would do anything to protect the children, and that was where he lose. Naruto spoke despite the kunai at his throat. "What's going on?" "Naruto, everything's gonna be alright. Just stay where you are." "Come on, Haruka, you know how this is going to go. Give up or the brat dies." Naruto saw the scroll. He didn't know what it was, but he understood the situation. You're trying to steal that, I presume, he said. And Haruka is trying to stop you. And now you're using his kindness against him by holding my life hostage. Mizuki smirked. Well, it seems you're smarter than... He immediately stopped talking as Naruto's clothing started to stretch, because Naruto started to get larger and larger. His skin started to turn green like moss. Mizuki could no longer hook his armor on Naruto because Naruto grew taller than him. He stood well over 6 feet. His body was massive. He had grown in size and mass, his clothing torn. Naruto looked down, visibly upset, which looked strange on his face. I really need to keep that suit on under my clothes. Then again, it's too hot, he said, talking to himself, not realizing that everyone was freaking the hell out. What the hell are you? Mizuki said. Naruto turned towards him. Your worst nightmare. It was something that Sora always said, to make an impression, and Naruto took a hold of it. Mizuki, he attacked, believing that despite what he saw, he was still a brat. The Chunin moved as fast as he possibly could. The first few strikes barely nicked Naruto's skin. Realizing that would not work, he started to amplify the kunai with chakra, but when he moved in, Naruto caught his wrists. Mizuki did not expect something so big to be that fast. Naruto squeezed. Mizuki cried as Naruto gripped the kunai and crushed it. The look on Mizuki's face, as if he was pleading to the gods, as Naruto held him and pulled him close, staring into his eyes. Mizuki's legs were trembling in fear. When you come down, if you do, tell me what the sky tastes like. Naruto uppercut Mizuki. The entire forest went quiet. Haruka stood there, his weapon down, utterly shocked and confused. Haruka just watched. In the distance, they could hear the crash. Mizuki had fallen, broken almost every single bone in his body, and his jaw was maybe unrepairable. Naruto had learned many things about himself. He understood more than any other children what it meant to be a ninja. He understood that ninjas had to kill. He understood the necessity. He understood the needless violence. And in a way that made him more dangerous, because Naruto understood what it means to protect the ones that you care about, or to fight for the right person. And that also means making sure your enemy doesn't have a chance to get back up. Thus, that ideology made him dangerous, far more dangerous than anyone who would have been a normal run-of-the-mill villain, especially with the power that he possessed, because he was a righteous man in his eyes, because he had learned what it meant and understood the ideology of the next step to becoming a ninja, and the power that he possessed made that far, far more dangerous in his hands than anyone else. Well, his mindset, to be quite exact. Time skip. No one would have truly known what would have happened if Naruto wasn't clear in his mind that night. Perhaps Haruka would have slowed Mizuki down. Perhaps Mizuki would have taken Haruka out. Well, what is known was Naruto had intervened, and because of him, the Forbidden Scroll was safe, Haruka was alive, and Mizuki was currently in a medical wing of the prison, strapped down, with almost his entire body beyond repair. Yes, it was. As Hiruzen thanked Naruto for his great service, having just been a few days back and was already performing greatly. Hiruzen also got to learn about Naruto chakra as well. This energy that was inside of him, that raw green burst of energy, it was mixing with his chakra, and due to the fact that Naruto has got some moderate control over that, his chakra control was almost impeccable at that level. However, Hiruzen saw something also frightening as well. If this green energy was fixed on Naruto's rage, the more anger he got, the larger it became. What did that mean for his chakra capacity? And his limits? Now he understands why Chiriku had said something like that. Team 7 was put together, as Hiruzen already had an idea for that. He was the one that pulled a few strings given the fact that Naruto hasn't been here for the past couple of years. Kiba Inuzaka should have been on the team, but Hiruzen made the changes and put Naruto on Team 7. Kakashi Hatake did not know what to fully expect. Yes, he knew about Naruto being absent from the village for a long while. He knew what was going on, as Hiruzen had filled him in, him being one of the few people that actually knowing the truth about Naruto. Naruto's desire to strive for better control over himself did not surprise the copy ninja. When the day came though for the bell test, as all three of them were gathered, Naruto figured it out rather easily, as he realized what Kakashi wanted them to do, and that it doesn't matter if one of them was strong enough to take the bells. And he did not believe that Sakura or Sasuke could do something like that against the Jonin. Naruto had studied those that were close to his own family. Kakashi Hatake was a student of his father. His life was tragic. He would be fitting for someone to just leave it all behind, yes, and stray away from the ninja path, to clear his mind, to be at peace. But he supposed some people had to focus on the ninja path, because it gave them a sense of belonging, it gave them a sense of continuance. Some people could not do without it. He seen that while he was on his journey. But Naruto could also see his teammates as well. Sasuke looked like he was ready to fight Kami and win. And Sakura, in order to impress him, wanted to do the same as well, despite not being ready. Naruto decided to pay her a visit first. She didn't know him well. She had only seen him become friends with Ino Yamanaka, and they laughed together. She had been good friends with Ino before their arrival, so she supposed that Naruto couldn't be a bad person, as he made her understand what they needed to do. She wasn't certain, but for some reason she trusted him. There was just something agreeable about him. Sasuke though was harder. He refused to bow down. He refused to let it slip that he wasn't the best. He didn't want teamwork. He wanted to do this alone. In fact, he said no to begin with. But Naruto made it clear that he could have all the glory, to say that he was the one that came up with the idea. That sounded a lot better to him. Well, that was after he decided to try it himself, and Kakashi planted him into the ground. Naruto had to laugh. He found it rather amusing. Sasuke looked like a carrot. Well, the top of it, that is, especially with his spiky hair. Naruto found it hilarious. Kakashi watched though as the three of them worked together. Their goal to weaken him, to slow him down. He studied everything that was going on. He had been listening in on their conversation. He had to say he was beyond impressed. After the bell test came to an end, he pulled Naruto aside. "When did you find out?" he questioned. "From the moment you gave us the instructions," Naruto said. "It was pretty obvious." It was from that moment that Kakashi knew that Naruto was a very smart individual. Team 7 ran through several D-rank missions after that. Naruto did not complain once. He was used to doing chores. It was a form of discipline, yes it was. So he did not complain once. Along the way they came across Team 8. Kiba looked towards him as he seemed so calm about it. "How are you not bored?" he questioned. "I am. But being bored and doing it badly are two different things," Naruto said. However, it didn't take too long for Team 7 to finally get a mission outside. It might seem simple at first, but that was only what it seems like. Team 7 found themselves going up against Zabuza Momochi after the Demon Brothers. The Demon Brothers did not stand a chance. Naruto did not need to transform every time. Even without it, his physical stature was superhuman, and there was no amplification of chakra. So when the chakra was added, his physical strength far superseded a C-rank shinobi, and that is what the two demon brothers were. The first part of the attack came from Zabuza Momochi though, proven to be a demon himself. As he hid within the shadows, he watched carefully. Naruto did not intervene. He did not need to transform all the time. Kakashi Hatake intervened, facing off against the man. It wasn't until Kakashi got captured when Naruto and Sasuke worked together to free him. However, a hunter nin came by and thanked them for their aid. With that, the hunter nin made his way, taking Zabuza's entire body. A few days later, while the team trained and rested, and Tazuna and his man worked on the bridge, Naruto made his way to the closest meadow, a calm forest, as he proceeded to close his eyes and relax. It didn't take long for him to feel that someone was close by. However, Naruto has learned a lot other than just punching or fighting. Learning how to center oneself, to learn everything around them, was a gift given to him by the other monks and Shirku as well. Someone stepped out, introducing themselves. Their name was Haku. "I know who you are." "You do? Well, I don't know your name, but I know that you're Zabuza's apprentice." Immediately, the Senmons came out. "There's no need for that. I'm not going to attack you." "How do you know?" Haku said. Not understanding how this boy figured him out, he was wearing a mask. "The meditation I practice has taught me to feel things about people, their chakra. What is it they carry?" said Naruto. "From the moment you saved Zabuza, your chakra was cold. It had a cold edge to it, a cold nature, which made me believe that you have some sort of special Kekkei Genkai or something. And I felt it once again the moment you arrived at the clearing. I've become quite the sensor by feeling through the very air around me," said Naruto. "You can put it away. I know that you have a Senbon behind you. Not just any normal Senbon though. You created that. You're able to create weapons out of ice. It's rather chilling," Naruto said, slowly rising to his feet. "Tell me something. Why do you work for Zabuza? You could have attacked me when I had my eyes closed. But even if that thought crossed your mind, you rather introduce yourself first and play it off like you're not with Zabuza." Haku was quiet, changing his stance completely as he looked at Naruto. "Do you have someone precious to you?" he said. It sounded like he was changing the subject, but it was not. "Someone you fight for?" "I have a lot of people, I suppose," Naruto said. "I made a lot of friends while I was training with the monks. So yes. Well, my master, Zabuza. He's my precious person. I would do anything for him. However, you find it hard to kill unnecessarily." "I understand that," said Naruto. "I also know that sometimes you need to kill. And even now as we speak, I know that you would never substitute anything if it comes to protecting your master. Even if it means killing Tazuna without hesitation. I can see that in your eyes." "You can?" "Yes," Naruto said. "But I can't allow you to do that. It is my mission to save him. It is my mission to save this place. I suppose we're on opposite sides." "I am sorry," said Naruto. "I am sorry too," Haku said. "The next time we meet each other, we shall be enemies." "Well, that will be the next time. We can be friends now," Naruto said with a smile. "I don't understand you. You know that we will fight the next time we see each other, and yet you are so calm. Are you that confident in your strength to defeat me? Are you that confident in your strength to win? Not just this, but the future battles that you face. We are tools and weapons. We should never have that much confidence unless we put our life on the line. Are you willing to die for your village orders? First of all, I am not a tool, I am not a weapon. I am a shinobi fighting for what I believe in. And neither are you, said Naruto. You're not a weapon or a tool. You're fighting for Zabuza because you love him, said Naruto. Haku felt strange about that. Of course he loves Zabuza, but the way he said it, he wasn't a tool. Something that he has called himself for the longest time now because that is what he was. But could it be different? Could it be another reason why he was fighting? Naruto pat him on the shoulder while he walked past him, showing absolutely no aggression towards him, despite knowing that they were gonna have to fight soon enough. When the day came, Team 7 arrived on the bridge. Zabuza came in like a force as well, but Haku was right beside him. Kakashi took on Zabuza while Naruto and Sasuke were left to face off against Haku, realizing rather easily that he was outmatched. He had to resort to his strongest technique. Mirrors filled the entire place. He started to rain senbons around on them. Sasuke was trying his best to dodge, but they were so fast. Sasuke felt outdone as Naruto kept on jumping in and saving him, moving from one spot to another, smacking the senbons away like they were paper. His natural durability along with his power seemed to be the best resulting defensive for this. Sasuke was getting slower and more angrier as the time passed by. Memories started to flash into his mind. You're not strong enough to test my own abilities. Hateful, scornful memories start to push him. A long time ago he had awakened the Sharingan, but they had simply went in dormant ever since, not reappearing, not showing back up. However, the stress of this situation, the stress of being a failure, never getting his revenge, it pushed him. Sasuke started to dodge a lot faster, predicting and reading the movements. He wasn't even aware until he saw it. He saw it within the reflection of one of the mirrors. His eyes. The Sharingan. Haku immediately realized that this battle was not in his favor, when Naruto started to punch the mirrors and shatter them with a single blow. You could see the complex features that was under the mask just by the side of his face. He was shocked and confused. He remembered what he had said to Naruto in the forest. About his own strength, was he that confident? Now he understood why. Realizing that if this battle drags on, he was gonna lose, as Naruto was only keeping his pace to ensure that Sasuke doesn't get harmed. Haku started to drop the temperature, using his own bloodline to regulate his body flow. He started to drop the temperature by increasing the coldness. The place started to get colder and colder and colder. Sasuke started to slow down. He realized if he was going to take Naruto out, he needed to use Sasuke. Massive jagged shards exploded from underneath due to the ground being completely frozen over while the bridge. Naruto's fist obliterated all of them, saving Sasuke's life. And Haku counted on that as senbons pierced into Naruto's back. These were the longer ones, covered with his own chakra, frozen and precise. Realizing that he needed the space, Naruto brought his hand up and clapped. Every shard, every approaching senbons was destroyed. Naruto then moved as he slammed his fist in the mirror. It exploded into pieces. He hurled Sasuke outside, towards where Sakura and the bridge builder was. Sasuke blinked, as Naruto was moving much faster than he could keep up with. He looked up as Sakura was looking down towards him. What just happened?" he said. Meanwhile, Naruto stood there. He looked up at Haku. "You're not going to win. These senbons, they can't hurt me. Give up before you run out of chakra," said Naruto. "I told you, I cannot do that." Because he is my precious person. Fine, said Naruto. Naruto jumped into the sky. Haku realized that he was gonna clap his hand once again, immediately went to the ground. Shards of ice shoot outwards. However, Naruto immediately regressed, returning back to his normal size, and dodging every single one of them. Trickery, Haku realized, but he realized that within this state, he could harm him. Naruto's clothing never seemed to explode either. It was because of Shirku. It was a special suit that he had got for Naruto. It expanded when he grew. Specially made, Fuinjutsu was inwoven into it, allowing it to expand and read his chakra. However, Haku realized at this moment he was vulnerable. Realizing that he could take Naruto out this way, not kill of course. The problem was, even while in his normal state, his natural durability was something else. But Naruto was simply waiting for the moment that Haku raised his arms. Naruto then transformed almost immediately and clapped his hand. The force of the clap pushed Naruto backwards as he shrank back down immediately. Haku's eyes went wide as Naruto's speed had quadrupled because of the clap that shattered several of the other mirrors in the other direction. Haku tried to escape, but Naruto grabbed his arm and pulled him towards him, literally stopping him from reaching the mirror just a fingertip away. Naruto then transformed and gripped his hand and hurled his fist into his gut. You could see his eyes as the mask was shoot off his face. The force of the blow, it rocked his entire body. He blasted through one of his own mirrors. Normally he would have gone inside of it, but the force was simply too much. He bounced across the bridge, leaving indents and broken formations, before he finally skidded to a stop near where the support beam was to the side. Haku lay there as he spat up blood. What kind of strength is this? It felt like a hit in the gut first, but then it traveled through him. It traveled through his entire body, through his entire being. It became him, and it swallowed him completely. He lay there, defeated and broken, more than ever before, unable to even think properly. He heard the clap as Naruto clapped his hand, clearing away all the mist. He slowly made his way after that. The bridge was clear as Zabuza and Kakashi paused. They could see each other clearly without relying on their other senses. As they both stood there, Zabuza heard the footsteps as he turned. Enough of this, said Naruto, as he held Haku by the back of the neck. Give up, or else. Zabuza smirked though. Haku is just a tool that has worn itself out. I don't care what you do. You're lying. I can see it. The moment you saw him, the corner of your eyes, they twitch, with a feeling that you're trying to regress so much, trying to push out of your very being. Fear. You love him as much as he loves you. Deny it as you must. If you don't stop, I will stop him permanently. Zabuza looked towards Naruto, his gaze turning harder. You have no idea what you're saying, brat. Haku is a tool to me, and there is not BAM! Kakashi delivered a brutal hook, sweeping his feet away and slamming him against the railing. Zabuza bit back the scream as his shoulder was fractured on the railing post. He looked up as a kunai was placed at his throat. He took his eyes off the ball and it was over. Kakashi looked at Naruto for a moment and gave him a nod. Perfectly done. Naruto placed Haku to the side. He had no intention of really killing him. That would be pointless. He had believed that Zabuza would have given up. Unfortunately though, got to arrive. There was a problem. No one was at the house. An unconscious tsunami was being held. and Iniri who was bound and tied up. His people had gone around using their boats, kidnapping Tsunami and Iniri. Over the past few days that Naruto spent with them, despite not having much, they were kind people. Iniri was hard at first, but Naruto had been able to break through that shell. So seeing this start to anger Naruto, but he had to repeat the mantra in his head. Focus, stay calm. You're in control. Focus, stay calm. But Gato started to make it worse, taunting the group, taunting their death like it was nothing. Let them go, said Naruto. Gato laughed though. Seems you don't understand the word leverage, you brat. Naruto looked over towards Kakashi. I have an idea. Get ready to move. Kakashi, to his credit, simply nodded, without hesitation, as Naruto had shown to be someone that doesn't operate with a child's mind despite being so young. Naruto transformed. He was bigger than even when he fought Mizuki. Naruto then stepped on the bridge. The shockwave, the entire bridge shook, the water below trembling violently. Sakura and Sasuke looked around. What the hell is going on? Sasuke moving, Sakura aiding him because he was exhausted. Not to mention the drop of temperature had robbed most of his breath away. They started to move towards the other side, but they could barely hang on. Within that exact moment, Naruto leaped. Naruto head butted the thug that was holding them. The man's skull was crushed due to the force that Naruto leaped with. He grabbed mother and son, dropping into the water. As the force of his leap pushed them deep down, Tsunami woke up almost immediately, the water splashing her in her face. Naruto then exploded out of the water, jumping to where Tazuna and the others were. Seeing that he lost his leverage, Gato shouted, "Kill them all!" Kakashi moving hand signs running through. He slammed his hand on the metal beam to the side. The electricity passed through many of the others, due to the fact that Naruto shaking the bridge had dislodged many of them. Many of them were electrocuted as they ran right into it, falling over to the side. However, a blade came out and took off 3 of their heads. It was Zabuza, back on his feet. He gazed at Haku, who was fine, but still unable to properly get to his feet. He looked towards Kakashi. This doesn't make us teammates or anything. We just have a mutual enemy, he said, splitting a guy in half. Gato decided to get the hell out of there. He made his way towards one of the boats, running. Kakashi looked up when he saw Naruto landing on the other side of the bridge, where the other man started to get off. Naruto grabbed one of them and threw him. He crashed into the water. He sent another one sailing. Still fully transformed, Naruto brought his hand out. You could see the green energy gathering around him. He then proceeded to clap his hand together. The sound was like the largest door that any of them have ever seen in their mind, closing shut in an empty room. The water split, the force traveling and slamming into the boat. You could see the point of impact. Gato's eyes went wide as everything started to plummet down. The amount of water that was kicked upwards and came back down, the force was unforgiving. Gato screamed in his final moments. The bridge was silent afterwards. The remaining few that was on the bridge chose to risk it. As they jumped off, some of them dropped to their knees, dropping their weapons, absolutely terrified of Naruto hulking form, as he towered over all of them. Zabuza stood there with a confused look on his face. Haku, who had propped himself up against the railing, realized it seems like he held back. If he would have truly wanted me dead, I would have been dead. Zabuza had to ask, "What the hell are you?" he said, looking at Naruto, who regressed back to normal. "Well, I would say to my enemies, a good friend to have, given that I would terrify them," said Naruto. He was right. He was right. Word traveled fast after that, as word normally did within the ninja world. While most of the people here would just see Naruto as a hero, praising his very steps as he walked. To other people though, it was not a heroic move. It was fear. Other villages start to hear about the miracle Genins of Konoha. While Naruto made the standing ovation for all, his team was still included in it as well. But what he did was circulating all around. Splitting the ocean like that, well, not the entire ocean, with a clap, was something unbelievable. Rumors start to go overboard, saying that he slammed his hand on the water and split it open. Saying that he clapped and the entire sea opened up. You know, rumors spread like they normally did, in different ways and sometimes a bit exaggerated. Even some within his village start to remember. However, they found it strange the last time they saw the demonic brat he had blonde hair. And the fact that most of them did not look at him closely, although his name was the popular mark now. But the green hair and the green eyes were throwing them off. Maybe they were wrong, maybe it was just another. Most had not even fully known his name. He was an orphan after all. They know him by his signature blonde hair. And the whispers around him, they call him that child or monster. But it did not seem to matter mostly though, because shinobis all around were talking about him. It wasn't often that a genin had made such a name for himself that early, if you weren't from some special clan or something. And due to the missing information that they don't have, it would seem like a random was starting to fly through the ranks, becoming something, well, that would be carved in the history books. Elsewhere though, when the Raikage received the news, he was angry. Konoha mission intakes have been quadrupled over the past couple of years, and was showing absolutely no sign of slowing down one bit. And the more mission they got, the less the other villages got, because the clients were moving towards them. And now, some kind of godly genin was now there. But Kumo wasn't the only village that was hearing about this. So the Raikage decided to make a move. For the survival of his own village, for the survival of his own ninja. The Chunin exams was coming around. His ninjas will make things very clear by crushing this so-called miracle genin. Others were thinking the same thing, as Naruto made himself a great target without even knowing about it. But guys, I'm be ending this one right here. If you want to see the next part, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But more for now, see you guys soon. Peace.